Guys, at this point, we're all slaves to World of Warcraft Classic. We're done with retail. I recently announced that I was finally quitting. I couldn't take it any longer. There's only much one person can take, and I still want to retain some sanity. So I guess at the end of the day, we're all just banking on Classic Plus.
World of Warcraft isn't the same as it used to be. Over the years, retail WoW moved further away from the slower, immersive MMO experience that made so many players fall in love with the game in the first place. And while Classic WoW brought a lot of that feeling back, there's only so many times players can replay through vanilla, TBC, and Wrath of the Lich King before wanting something new. And
Yes.
honestly, that's why I think
There's only much you can farm human as AI batteries before they wake up and realize they're in the Matrix. So you need to change the software from time to time so people would stay in the dark. I understand that's very good take.
Classic Plus could save World of Warcraft, not by becoming retail, but by becoming the middle ground between modern WoW and the soul of Classic. Now, before people instantly take this as retail is bad, that's not really.
Retail is bad, and they should take it as retail is bad because it's completely garbage. Wait, let me just move myself so we can respect this fine individual here. But yeah, it's absolutely bad. Retail World of Warcraft and Blizzard should be admonished, rebuked, and repudiated at every single turn because the game sucks. It's bad. It's objectively bad, and I had enough. I literally capitulated to retail player demands, and I played the game. Now that I played it and I know everything about it, it's trash. If you're a retail lover, like honestly good on you, but if you're coming here to clown on me and tell me that I don't understand anything, I'm sorry. You need to be institutionalized. What is Classic Plus? Classic Plus is Classic World of Warcraft, but with different content. So basically, instead of continuing into retail, it would continue the original vision of World of Warcraft, which are more zones out in the open, slower gameplay, etc. We're not gonna go over everything. Obviously, Classic Plus also means different stuff for different people, but I think most of us agree about the core ideal, which is slower gameplay, focused on immersion, and great story. I think that's what most people just really want from Classic. The rest, it's open for interpretation.
What I'm saying here. Retail clearly still has a massive audience. There are players who
It doesn't have a massive audience. Every single city is empty. Everyone is multi-boxing. Everyone is botting. It doesn't have a huge community. Blizzard intentionally inflate number with bots. Everyone knows that. Like, stop. Let's stop with the entire retail is pulling 9 million player shenaniganry. It's not true. It's just not true.
Enjoy the faster combat, Mythic Plus, competitive rating, and all the modern systems that came over the years. But I think for a lot of the old school MMO players, retail stopped feeling like the Warcraft world they originally fell in love with. The game became faster, more automated, more system driven, and honestly, more focused around convenience. Dungeon Finder, cross-realm systems, instant teleporting everywhere, daily checklist style gameplay, store mounts, and monetization. And
Clanker gameplay at its finest. You don't have to play the game plays you. Perfect, Blizzard, thank you. Please add another system, and while you're at it, add another currency. I really need some of those.
Slowly, the actual world started feeling less important. Back in older WoW, the world was the game. Travel mattered. Server reputation mattered. Grouping up with random players mattered. Even getting a single piece of gear felt meaningful because progression was slower. The game felt immersive. That gritty fantasy atmosphere is what made World of Warcraft feel special in the first place. And I think a lot of players slowly realized they missed that feeling. That's exactly why Classic WoW exploded when it came back in 2019. And I don't think it was just nostalgia, because that's always the easy argument.
It's not an argument, it's a way for retail Andes to deflect and try to make it sound like they're right. But in reality, the nostalgia argument died the moment Classic actually released. And I know, because I'm not nostalgia bound. I came to World of Warcraft during Warlords of Draenor. I know, my condolences, right? We went over that. But I didn't have any attachment to prior version of World of Warcraft because I simply did not play them. So I came into Classic World of Warcraft with a clean head and a clean slate, and I was just there to just, try it out, see what everyone was talking about, because obviously many people were nostalgic towards it, so I thought, hey, you know what? I'll give it a proper chance. Like, why not? I don't have anything to lose. And I kid you not, this was the best experience I've ever had in my entire life. Ever since I played vanilla World of Warcraft when it re-released, I understood what an MMORPG should be like. Now I know. I know how fun it can be. I know it's my favorite genre. I know that I'm hooked for eternity. And unfortunately, my thirst is more than likely to never be quenched. So, yeah, I'm not nostalgia bound. If you're using that argument, you're just lying to yourself.
People make. Oh, people only like Classic because of nostalgia. But if that was true, Classic wouldn't still have a dedicated player base years later. The reason Classic hit so hard is because it brought back an MMO design philosophy that rarely exists anymore.
It doesn't
pacing,
exist.
Dangerous zones, longer leveling, class identity, social interaction, community, immersion. In Classic, you actually feel like you're living in the world.
God bless. It's crazy how much we lost that feeling. It's crazy how much we lost that. Holy, it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely mind-boggling. My God. I mean, it is what it is, boys. It is what it is. It's just crazy we truly lost all of that. I mean, what can we do, right? What can we do? It's just peak insanity. I really wish we had that back.
See the same players repeatedly, you recognize guild names, you remember who helped you with quests, you even remembered rival players from the opposite faction. And honestly, modern MMOs lost a lot of that. Most games today feel like lobby simulators. Queue up, complete content, collect rewards, repeat. But Classic WoW slowed things down again. And because of that, the journey mattered, not just the end game. But here's the problem. You can only replay the same classic content so many times before the mystery starts fading. And I think Blizzard knows this too, because when you look at classic server launches, fresh servers create hype. Season of Discovery created hype. Even hardcore created hype. But eventually, it's still fundamentally playing through the same world over and over. And don't get me wrong, vanilla WoW is legendary for a reason, but eventually players want something new, not retail new, not borrowed power systems and 20 different currencies, but new adventures built by the philosophy of Classic WoW. And overall, that's why the idea of Classic Plus resonates with so many people, because players don't want Classic to turn into retail, but they also don't want to endlessly replay vanilla through Wrath fresh forever either. They want progression, expansion, discovery. And this is where I think Blizzard has a massive opportunity, because Classic Plus shouldn't just be vanilla again. It should expand Azeroth while preserving what made Classic feel special in the first place.
Absolutely. And this is something we all agree upon. I think this is like universally agreed. Like, there's a consensus about what Classic Plus should fundamentally be, and I think that's exactly it. The rest, we can figure out on our own.
And what that looks like would be new zones, new quest lines, new dungeons and raids, new reputations, new world events, even new secrets hidden throughout the world. Imagine exploring entirely new areas in Azeroth with classic style pacing and immersion. Imagine guilds progressing through completely new raids blindly again. No guides, no optimized strategies, no data mined encounters solved before launch. That feeling of discovery is what made old WoW magical. And modern WoW struggles to preserve that feeling now. Everything gets solved instantly. Everything becomes optimized instantly. Players know exactly what they're doing before content even launches, but Classic Plus has the chance to bring genuine adventure back into World of Warcraft again. And the key here is Classic Plus shouldn't just be mistaken for retail light. That's the biggest mistake Blizzard could make. Players don't want retail systems wearing a classic skin. They want new adventures built with old school MMO philosophy, slower pacing, social interaction, meaningful progression, a world that actually feels alive again. And truth be told, this is where Turtle WoW set a pretty high bar, because even
Exactly. And you know how I know that he's right? Because the server he was actually just describing, like the retail systems hiding behind classic skin, is exactly what Ascension World of Warcraft is. I played this private server, and I get the fact that many people like playing it, but it's not classic. It's not even remotely close to classic. I've spoken about this plenty of times, so I don't want to go over it again. But if you think Ascension World of Warcraft is Classic Plus, you're deeply mistaken. It's retail minus at best, and it has no similarity to Classic World of Warcraft other than looks. And that's it.
as a private server, it had alternate lore, different storylines, as well as bringing in new zones and new overall content. Blizzard knows this, and that's why they ultimately took legal action against Turtle WoW, because it competes with whatever Blizzard's official version will be. Classic Plus could genuinely be something really great if Blizzard takes lessons learned from SOD, like they referenced in Agrin's Blue Post, and even going further by looking at ideas from the private server community that honestly helped shape the overall foundation for Classic Plus. However, with all the hype and excitement for new content in a classic setting, let's look at some of the biggest fears about what could negatively impact Classic Plus. And one of the biggest fears among the community when it comes to what could hurt Classic Plus the most is monetization. The WoW token is by far one of the most controversial things to be added to Classic World of Warcraft.
It will be added to Classic World of Warcraft 100%. If you think Classic Plus is going to be devoid of any microtransaction whatsoever, you're dead wrong. Not only you're gonna have pre-order bonuses with like certain special mounts, you're gonna have WoW token inside of it. I'm already calling it. Please do not think any differently. You're just setting yourself up for disappointment. It will have microtransaction. I just hope they will be minor enough so I won't care about them. Even though the addition of WoW token would literally shatter my soul, I can somehow live with it if Classic Plus is fun as Turtle WoW was. I can somehow live with it. Yeah, sorry, I missed some of your comments, guys. Yeah, I mean, yeah, imagine class identity in our games, right? It's crazy. You can actually be a mage and sell your stuff and like do something with your character with warlocks and summons. I understand. I mean, that's the beauty. Nowadays, every single class has been homogenized to a point where none of it matters. It's just a matter of numbers and that's it. You just pick the stuff that do the highest number and you're good. Yeah, it's easier to tell what they shouldn't add to Classic Plus. Yeah, just retail, big no-no. Big no-no. Anything other than that, just copy Turtle WoW. You'll do just fine.
And the community fears it could be added to Classic Plus. And the WoW token has always been something, from Blizzard's standpoint, as something to combat RMT. But from the player base's concern...
No, it's not. No, it's not to combat RMT. It was to join them. You can combat RMT by putting competent GMs inside of servers and just banning people. That's not the way you deal with bots. You just join in on the fun. It's the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my entire life, and if you believe in that, you're delusional.
Why not just go after the culprits, like the gold
sellers,
the gold buyers, bots? And that brings in another issue.
And it's so easy, too. It is so easy, too. You literally go around in retail World of Warcraft, and you see people multi-boxing so brazenly. You just need to perma-ban them on the spot, and that's it. Ban them and their 5 accounts. But you know why Blizzard would never do that? Because these people are 5 paying customers. I mean, it's 1 customer that pay for 5, and they would never take that away. It would literally hurt them monetarily. So yeah, that's why they're not doing it.
Which is botting and overall illegal RMT, where in private server communities, the devs actually banned anyone participating in illegal activity. Some servers even had anti-cheat scripts, making it so gold buying and botting was not even allowed. That's quite different from Classic WoW, where illegal RMT and botting has been pretty bad throughout 2019's progression, and probably the worst it's ever been in Anniversary. Going even further, one thing I think really needs to be thoroughly looked at by Blizzard is the idea of layering, because having so many layers does make the game feel like a diluted version of what classic WoW is supposed to be. A good example is if Stormwind or Orgrimmar is being raided by the opposite faction on layer 1. It feels weird when players can just hop layers to escape the action. It even gets deeper with open world content where if a bunch of players are experiencing something on a certain layer, well, players on other layers are forced to get an invite to that layer to experience it with everyone else. That is if they know or are told by others that an event is happening. And it brings up the fact that in vanilla, original OG vanilla, you didn't really have any of those systems. Everybody experienced everything at the same time on the same server. And overall, when it comes to all of these issues, I think that if they get looked at and taken care of, I think we could really see the game shine. Overall, I do think Classic Plus could save World of Warcraft, not because it would replace retail, but because
it will replace retail, 100%. Nobody likes playing retail. The people inside of retail hate themselves for playing retail. I know, I spoke with many of them while I was, doing shenaniganry. It's just a matter of there is no replacement. There is no alternative. So they're like, okay, I'll play retail WoW because it's the only thing that makes me feel joy at the moment. That's it. The moment Classic Plus would come out and it will be good, you'll see retail numbers drop immensely. It's just a matter of time. You'll have to wait and see for yourself. Even Classic Plus will be solved within a year and new content comes out. Yeah, it's not a matter of being solved because you can always get away from the content. It's just a matter of having something fresh. Like, every content would be solved in an MMO. You live in an era of min-maxers, and Wowhead will just reveal every single truth about the game before the patch even released. So there's nothing you can do about it except shut your eyes and have fun. And I think that's how I'm going to play the game. I'm going to play blind. I'm not going to use any guides. I'm just going to be me, running around the world. When I played Turtle WoW, I didn't watch any guide. I just maxed which abilities I thought were great. I just maxed the talents that I thought was good. And that's it. I just played at my own pace. And I think you should too. Like, you definitely shouldn't be afraid of, the min-maxing and the information thing. You can definitely get away from it.
Could restore an identity that WoW slowly drifted away from over the years. Right now, there's a massive gap in gaming for immersive MMO RPGs. Most online games today are designed around speed and convenience, rush to endgame, spam repeatable systems, log off. But people are craving actual virtual worlds again. Worlds that feel social, worlds that feel immersive, worlds that feel dangerous and rewarding, and Blizzard already has the perfect foundation sitting right in front of them. Classic WoW already proved the demand exists, the community is there, the passion is there. Now imagine taking that foundation and finally expanding it while preserving the soul of old WoW. That's why I think Classic Plus has so much potential, because it doesn't need to compete with retail. It needs to become the evolution of...
Compete with what? A dead MMORPG? There's nothing to compete with. Retail is garbage. Like, there is no competition. You can make a game that is half-baked and will still be better than retail World of Warcraft. Like, literally, guys, you do not understand. If you haven't watched my video, I called retail World of Warcraft the worst experience I've ever had in my entire life, and I was dead serious, too. It is literally the worst thing I've ever had to endure in the past 5 years. And guys, I would literally rather play Gollum than retail WoW again. It's that bad.
Classic. The middle ground. Not stuck endlessly replaying vanilla forever, but not abandoning the identity that made World of Warcraft legendary either. And as a side note, I think a lot of people forget how important Warcraft's original storytelling was to building that identity in the first place. Everything from the original Warcraft RPG games helped shape the atmosphere, conflict, and world that made vanilla WoW feel so immersive. The faction wars, the betrayal, the tragedy, the darker fantasy themes. I still remember the moment I truly fell in love with Warcraft lore, watching Arthas slowly fall from grace, from the Prince of Lordaeron to becoming the Lich King after placing the Helm of Domination on his head.
Such a good cinematic.
It genuinely felt like watching a hero slowly consume himself by trying to save his people, but ends up becoming the villain. That type of storytelling is part of what made Warcraft feel so special. The world felt grounded, the conflicts felt meaningful, the characters felt memorable. World of Warcraft was built on struggle, war, sacrifice, and adventure. And I think if
I really wish Blizzard would add the Jailer to Classic Plus. That would be so funny. I'm not even gonna lie, guys. Like, that would be the most hilarious thing I'd ever experienced in my life. And, you know, it would pretty much be an infinite content machine for us WoW content creator. And you know what? It would just be funny. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. But that being said, like, Blizzard, please, for the love of God, hire competent writers. Just fire all the wine moms and Labubu millennials. Hire actual talent and write a good story. I know, it may be difficult. You really want those Funko Pop bozos to write your stories. But if you can give that up, you'll have a good game. Because World of Warcraft foundations were based on targeting young adults and dark fantasy settings. So if you go back to that grittiness, and I'm not talking like Berserk level or anything like that, but just go back to the dark fantasy vibes, every single thing in this game is just going to click. Trust me, I know. But retail players won't quit Classic Plus. There's a very small overlap between the two player base. Not really. Not as much as you think. I think that a lot of retail players actually prefer Classic, and they will play Classic Plus. The problem is, Classic already released the full cycle, so now you'd see more players on retail WoW because they've already done with Classic. But the first time Vanilla WoW released, you've seen an insane number on Classic retail... on Classic World of Warcraft, and retail actually lost a significant amount of players. I remember that. So, yeah, I think once Classic Plus would release and we have a fresh experience, many people would leave it to play Classic. 100%, they would leave retail.
Blizzard truly understands that when it comes to Classic Plus. Not just the gameplay systems, but the actual soul and identity of Warcraft itself. Classic Plus could become one of the biggest things to ever happen to World of Warcraft. But what do you think? If Blizzard announced Classic Plus tomorrow, what would you want it to look and feel like? Let me know down in the comments, because the community's voice really matters on topics like this, especially when it comes to Classic World of Warcraft. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and...
I have enjoyed this video. Man, I'm so glad I discovered this content creator. He makes such bangers. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. You guys can watch him for yourself. Give him a like. You should. Really fantastic video. And again, I pretty much said all that I had to. I just think that Blizzard honestly should get a grip and not screw up Classic World of Warcraft. Especially not after shutting down Turtle WoW. But I think that the best case scenario, and I really hope that I'm right about this, is that the Turtle WoW team has been absorbed into Blizzard. I really hope they would do that, because Blizzard did take some people from, you know, like other companies, or maybe just people who worked solo, and they made them work for them. I mean, you know, they offered them something. So, like Hurricane. Hurricane is that fantastic content creator on YouTube that made WoW Machinimas, and Blizzard actually hired him. So, I think they should do the same with Turtle WoW. Just give them some time, give them space, give them the means to pull it off, and they will give you the best Classic Plus experience out there.